Hey, what's going on? Noel Hard Feelings here, back with an instant reaction video to FSU UNC. Now, this game, I thought the Noles were going to do a little better, guys, but I can't say I'm surprised. But at this point in the season, the best you can do is 11 points. Now, I'm going to get into the coaching and what I think needs to be done, but I'm going to save those thoughts for the end of the video. But there were some red flags in the beginning of this game. It was, I think, on the first series, it was 3rd and 11, and Mike Norvell decides to run right up the middle with Toa Philly. Now, they had only 5 total yards rushing prior to this, but somehow Mike thinks on 3rd and 11 that his running back is going to pick up 11 yards. Where's the logic in that? Where's the aggressiveness in that? It just doesn't make any sense. Why not go for it? Throw this ball beyond the sticks. What do you got to lose? You're 7, 1-8? Like, seriously, you run it on 3rd and 11. Doesn't make any sense. But, the Noles had 61 total yards of offense in that first half against a basketball school at home. And 33 yards were from passing, and 28 yards were on the ground. Now, they only caught one ball in the first half, and that was a 3rd down completion by Hakeem Williams. That was it. Outside of that, lots of misses. And they were 1 for 6 on their 3rd down. So that one 3rd down they completed was that 33-yard pass to Hakeem Williams. Now, don't get me started on this offensive line. Darius Washington got abused, gave up multiple sacks. What's even more shocking to me is that Atkins can still put him back out there. Why isn't he on the bench? Didn't Saban say that? If these people are playing bad, put them on the bench. Atkins, he just needs to quit. He's garbage. I'm going to say it straight up. That dude is garbage. His unit gave up 5 sacks alone in the first half. I've seen smaller schools playing a lot better offensively, putting out a better offensive line than Atkins has. Unacceptable. Now, moving on to the quarterbacks. Glenn, he had a nice 50-yard bomb to Benson in that second half and followed that up with a nice 28-yard touchdown pass to Ja'Kai Douglas, which was followed up by, a nice 2-point conversion by Lawayne McCoy. But what did they do on that next drive? The defense, they got gashed by Hampton, and UNC scores a touchdown. Florida State's trying to bring some momentum back onto their side, and the defense just lays an egg out there, just completely gets gashed. And we've seen it before all year, but it's just frustrating to see after your offense finally makes a couple good plays, moves the ball. Now it's the defense not doing their job. It's not the offense not doing their job. Now it's the defense not doing their job. It's just frustrating to watch, but that's how this season's been. Now, on defense, in that first half, Omar Graham Jr., he had a nice stop on the goal line to force a turnover on downs. The D-line got some good pressure, I thought. Farmer made a couple nice plays. I'm not sure about number 11. Now, it's November, and he only has 2 Tomahawk stickers on his helmet. Why is he still out there? Again, he needs to be on the bench. Is there not anyone else that can take his spot? Is there not another player on defense that can get more pressure than him? Because it just seems like he's not putting forth much effort when he's out there, to be honest. And when I look at this lack of effort and the body language and the bad angles these players are taking on tackles, it's just bad recruiting, really. Some of these players should not even be on this team, to be honest. In recruiting, it's the lifeblood of your program. Yes, we have the portal, and yes, you can strike gold. We saw that last year, but you can also completely whiff. Look at how it turned out for us this year. It's really hit or miss when it comes to these portal players. You can't rely upon them to build a team. It's just, there's too much risk involved, if you ask me. High risk, low reward, really. Now, right now, our recruiting class, it's ranked number 47. And we had some big recruits in attendance at this game. No 5 stars or anything, but we had a couple 4 stars, some players from UF, receiver from UCF, players we probably need. Now, I don't know how you leave the game and say, man, I'm going to come play for Mike Norvell at Florida State. I'm excited at what they're doing. It's embarrassing, guys. Not just on the field, but it's embarrassing with recruiting and what we see happening. But I want to speak real quick on the third down defense. They continue to suck. I'm just going to say it as it is. They're garbage. They're hot trash. Now, at one point in the game, all of UNC's first downs, they came on third down completions. And I was watching that first half. I saw the Noles. They gave up a 38-yard screen pass on 3rd and 14. They gave up a 24-yard catch on 3rd and 9. And another 14-yard completion on 3rd and 10. Again, this speaks to bad coaching. Fuller's not putting his guys in position. He continues to see them get burned on these third downs. He needs to change up the defense. He needs to disguise his blitz packages. He needs to throw something new at the offense, something he failed to do. Now, they had a nice stop on 3rd and 1 at the goal line, the defense, but what happened? Offsides, penalty, and that allowed UNC to get the touchdown on the next play. Now, the defense, again, speaking to Fuller, really, they let UNC quarterback Criswell just pretty much do whatever he wanted underneath. Fuller, he let the UNC offense in that second half opening drive go for 75 yards down the field on 6 plays and score a touchdown. Now, last time I checked, you're supposed to make adjustments at halftime. So the blitz packages Fuller threw at UNC were ineffective. There were no adjustments on his part, and that speaks to his play calling. We need a better defensive coordinator because Fuller, he is not the answer. The bright spot on the day was Fitzgerald, and I called this. He nailed a 56-yard field goal. That was one of the things I made in my bold predictions in my preview of this game, is that Fitzgerald would nail a 50-yard field goal. The other 2 bold predictions I made didn't happen. One was one of the quarterbacks would pass for 250 yards. I thought against that poor UNC defense, that would be a little easier, but apparently not. Apparently, they just continue to suck each week no matter what's thrown at them. And the other bold prediction I made is that the defense would score a defensive touchdown. But that failed to happen. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I wanted to talk about coaching. If you're FSU, you need to call Sexton and negotiate a better buyout. They need to do something. We cannot afford to let Mike Norvell hold us hostage with his buyout. Now, I know what some of you are saying. Yes, how are we going to afford to pay his buyout? It's too much money. I know, I get it. It's a lot of money. But that doesn't mean Florida State needs to sit on their hands and not do anything. They need to start getting active in looking into ways in which they can get Mike Norvell out. It's not a knock on Norvell. I don't have anything against him personally. But we've seen FSU do this with trying to get out of the ACC, and they found a little way out, didn't they? I think they can do something by looking into this contract, calling Sexton, doing something, but they can't just sit on their hands. Now, it's only going to make things worse if we don't do anything, because we're suffering through our worst year in FSU football history. Period. It hasn't been this bad before. Now, you can call that an anomaly if you turn things around. But what if you don't turn things around? What if next year it's more of the same? But let's say we get maybe 3 and 4 wins. Okay, we got a slight improvement, but really is that much of it? That's not the standard at Florida State. So if you get to that next year, 3, 4 wins, how are you going to sell recruits on the direction of your program? What do you think the opposing coaches, our rivals, are going to be saying and telling recruits? This is a real possibility, folks. We could be seen as that program that is, hey, you're a 3 or 4 win school. And that's what coaches are going to be telling recruits if something doesn't change, because that could very well happen, considering the players we have on this team and considering the coaches we have on this team. Now, next year, we're not getting 7, 8 wins. I'm just going to break it to you. Next year, it's going to be more of a rebuild. That climb that Mike talks about. But these coaches, some of these assistants, they need to go right now. They shouldn't even be let into the building. They should be handed their bags and told they need to kick rocks, go find somewhere else to coach. People say, oh, you can't fire coaches mid-season. I don't buy that. I've seen several programs already fire their coaches mid-season. And you're going to tell me there's not a graduate assistant who can't do any better than what Atkins is doing or what Fuller's doing? Because they're doing so bad, it would be hard to do worse than that. So what do you lose if you fire Fuller or if you fire Atkins right now? What do you lose? Well, your defense just gave up 30-plus points to UNC. Your offensive line was only able to protect the quarterback enough to allow for, 11 points? So you're going to tell me that a graduate assistant or somebody else on the team can do worse than that? I find that hard to believe. They may do just as bad, but I don't know if they can do much worse. I mean, because I don't see much coaching going on from Fuller or from Atkins. I look at both of their units. I see laziness. I see undiscipline. And I just see a total lack of effort. I see bad angles. I see missed blocks. I just see a mess across the board. So, Florida State, they go into Notre Dame next week, and it's going to be a beatdown. It's going to be hard to do that reaction video. It's going to be hard enough just to watch the game. But let me know in the comments down below, guys, what needs to happen at Florida State? Is there a way out? Can we get Norvell fired? Or is there a way for him to turn it around? You let me know. I don't think he can do a rebuild twice. Never seen it done. And based upon the decisions I see him making now, I have a hard time envisioning him being able to turn things around in the future. I still think he's a good coach. I think if you put him somewhere else, he'd probably be successful. But just given the circumstances of what's been going on here at Florida State, I just don't see a path to success for him. I think change needs to happen. I think we need to hire a coach that is a proven recruiter, somebody who can also make the necessary hires and be that CEO type coach that you need to run a major college football team. With that being said, it's no hard feelings, and I'm out.